also want to talk a little bit about the 5/7 chord. So when we play the cadences, this is the cadence, this is G, the 5 chord. So what I had you do on the cadence is change this to this, which is the 5/7 chord. It has the 7 now. So what I've done is moved from 5 to 7 within that chord. So this is the 5th, this is the 7th. So here's the dominant 7th chord, 1, 3, 5. I just add another note in thirds, stacked in thirds on top of that, diatonically within the key. That means, diatonic means of the key. So every note in there is of the key. It's in the key of C. So I start on G, I stack those chords up in thirds, and I get this dominant 7th chord, okay? So when we do the cadence, generally, they teach this in classical music too. When I get to that 5/7 chord, I usually just play the 3rd, 7th, and the root of that chord, whatever position I'm in, right? But it actually is a 4-note chord. So when you go to learn the chords like I just showed, playing up and down the inversions and the broken arpeggios, I suggest you do the whole chord, the 5 chord, all 4 notes. So if I'm doing that on G, it looks like this. There's G7, first inversion, second inversion, third inversion, root position, and then back down, and then the broken arpeggio, 4 notes. Okay, so this is really good, like to do it like hands separately, like I said, because we're going to encounter these dominant 7 chords, these 5/7 chords, a lot in music as we go forward. All 7th chord harmony is just full of dominant 7s doing all kind of things, not just resolving 5 to 1, but for now we're just going to talk about that basic resolution, okay? But it's very important. When we get to the blues, all those 3 chords in this key, C, F, G, they're all going to become dominant 7th chords. So at that time, you know, we're definitely going to want to know these chords. So once again, you can just do it in each key as you go around through the different keys, or you can just go around the circle of fourths and take each chord and make a dominant 7th chord out of it and go up and down the inversions and broken arpeggios. That's a really handy thing to do. Okay, so another thing I wanted to say about the dominant 7th chord, what's interesting about it and why the resolution is so strong is because if we look at the notes of the chord, it is, here's the 3rd, here's the 7th. In jazz harmony, we call these 2 notes the guide tones, the 3rd and 7th of the chord. Those are the chords that outline the harmony of that chord. And when we get a chord structure where the chords are all moving, then we can just see how the harmonic structure works by playing the root and the guide tones of the chords, and that's going to outline the harmonic structure for us. Now don't worry about that if that seems complicated, because we'll talk about that more later when we begin talking about jazz harmony. But for now, I just want to talk about why that dominant 7th chord, why that resolution is so strong. If I play those 2 notes, that B and that F on that G7 chord, this interval is called a tritone interval. So it's very unstable. It's made of 3 whole steps. So it's just got this unstable sound. It wants to resolve. It wants to go, right? Or if I put it this way, here I have the 3rd and the 7. If I put the 7 on the bottom and move it here, put the 3rd on top, now it wants to go outward like, right? So, okay, right? So it has a real strong pull. If I'm playing this, you just want to hear it go, right? And that's what it does. So a lot of our music starts with this kind of dominant resolution. So it's very important. Okay, so again, I would learn all your triads, major triads, and I would learn all your dominant 7th chords.